Hello everybody, today on Behind the Logo, I, Bobby Gaines, will be showing you exactly how I design my most beloved logo every year, the Christmas logo, and in 2014 I've got another great new idea, so hang tight and enjoy this in-depth personal look at, of course, my most meaningful logo every year, Christmas. Alright, so this is a quick view of my workstation, and what we're going to do here is just take a quick look at the things I'll be using for this particular logo. Now, it's actually pretty low-tech over here. I've got several sketch pencils, pens, Sharpie pens, fountain pens, whatever, all with different lines, all with different qualities. Eventually I will incorporate the computer. I have an HP laptop that I do all my video edits and logo edits on. I have all the Adobe programs, so I will be using those, of course. But just starting very simple. Now last year I actually had a frame for my 2013 logo, and I made it by tracing this shape right here. So similarly, again, I'm not completely ripping off my idea, but I thought it would be cool this year for a different kind of surface. Sort of a circular, this is a wooden plaque. Now, it both will and won't look wooden in my final design. I'll get to that in a second. So I've got this wooden plaque. I've got some tracing paper from Michaels, and I've got this illustration book that I love. I've been using it for a while now. I have a lot of illustration books, but this is the one when I'm really serious. It's not my sketchbook that is lighter quality paper. This has a very thick paper, really absorbs the ink. But first I'll be tracing this in pencil. So what I'm going to do right now is go around real quick, trace this shape. Okay, so we can see that this figure just barely fits on the page. It's going to be kind of tricky. I'm going to use a 4H sketching pencil. That just means it has a bit of a softer lead, but it'll give a pretty nice line. And I'm going to just sketch nice and easy around the edges. Okay, and right now what I'm going to be doing is using the Sharpie pen, going in and just refining those lines. Now you'll notice I'm going to keep the wood template approximately where it was, so I'm not just going to blindly follow those lines because the lines I made with the pencil were guided by this wood template. So it's a little tricky to detect the edges here because you're almost sketching into the wood, so you know, it kind of hugs the edge here. Approximation. And actually, I don't know how well you can see this here, but I've kind of designed a slight overlay. This was somewhat unintentional, but I can see a certain way that I can use this. So there are a couple different ways I could go about this, but basically what I'm going to do is I have a scanned image of the tracing that I just did on the wood plaque. So I'm going to go in with the pen tool right now in Illustrator, and you might notice that if I zoom in here, you'll really see it. The place where I used the pencil, there were a couple of lines that didn't quite match up with the pen, so it almost looks like two shapes. I mentioned that earlier, and I'm actually going to try to trace them both, and I'll show you that in a second. Again, trying to hug the curves here. I'm going to go on the inside trail first. No, I'm sorry, outside trail first. So one of these is going to be the top shape. Right now I'm still kind of deciding on that. So, I mean, what it does basically, and as I mentioned, they're almost the same shape. It gives it just a nice little shadow effect. Once I'm done kind of tweaking this, in fact, here, why don't I just do that now? I'll just hide the background. I'll make these a color, at least for now, that I can see better. So say make this one red. I'm not saying that's going to be the color, but okay, so one's red. The underneath one will make black. So I mean, and like I mentioned, it's not an exact representation. I'm playing with a little gradient right now to kind of give it more of a grainy effect. I may or may not use the tracings that I used earlier in this kind of making of. That's something I don't really talk about, but in a lot of my designs, there are certain elements that I won't even use, or things I'll play with that I don't end up like getting to. So again, maybe I'll use the gradient on the background, but instead I'll turn down the color. This next part I really like. This is the lettering that I'm going to do for the Christmas logo using these stencils. I'm going to once again trace pencil. I'm going to go over then I'm going to go ahead and import these letters into my other document. So, we'll see how that goes. Alright, so now we go back into our original Illustrator document, and you can see we're just going to start placing the letters here. And if I zoom out, you can tell there's not going to be enough room for the letters in this shape, so I'm going to have to adjust the size and different things like that, and the color. But I don't know, that's the really cool part about working with digital media, is that you can do some of these changes on the fly. All the letters and numbers into the space. I still have to resize them to fit in the wood block, but so far I have to say I really like how this is coming out. I'm going to just go ahead and start sizing these down so that they're going to actually fit in the space I provided. But again, once I've done that, then I can just go ahead and now start placing. Alright, so we got our space, we have our text, our main focus. Now what we need is some color. We need this to pop. This actually isn't a bad look, but this is more just an experiment. Let me go forward here. Try it all red, and then maybe refine it with a thin black stroke. Right, so here we are with our near final build. I am still going to work out a couple of other things, and also probably put some kind of Christmas-like symbol down here. I'm thinking of holly or something. We'll see. But again, really excited about the way this is coming out. Hopefully you've enjoyed this inside look. And I'm going to spruce this up and finalize it in just a bit.